Here are 15 fascinating and bizarre occurrences that, even to this day, remain unexplained. 1. The disappearing pilot. In March of 2017, a 27-year-old Chinese student named Xin Rong hired the pilot of a single-engine plane to take him from Ann Arbor Municipal Airport in Michigan to Harbor Springs. His plane, however, crashed on its way over Manitou Wedge, Ontario. Weirdly, the body of Xin Rong was never found in the wreckage. 2. The Arctic Ping. In 2016, the Canadian military was tasked with trying to find the source of a mysterious sound, emanating from the seabed of the Fury and Hecla Strait in the Canadian Arctic. Local hunters reported the strange sound as a kind of constant beeping, but no explanation was ever determined. 3. Teleportation. In Russia, this dashcam picture was taken in 2012. If you look closely, you can see a figure in a white overcoat standing directly behind the large truck. Apparently, the person had suddenly appeared out of nowhere, leading people to believe they teleported from another location. 4. The ghost ship. A man named Jason Aslan snapped this picture as he was filming a music video on Lake Superior. This strange, shimmering silhouette remained in sight for almost 30 minutes, and it resembled a large ship. Jason never found out what it was. 5. Chillin UFO. In 2014, a technician on board a Chillin Navy helicopter filmed a strange unidentified flying object in the sky. A committee tasked with investigating the occurrence ruled out a commercial airplane, a weather balloon, and falling space debris. They eventually concluded that it couldn't be explained. 6. French Poltergeist. In January 2017, the CIA published a previously classified document describing a French family who was plagued by a poltergeist. Apparently, the ghost moved pieces of furniture on its own and frequently made startling noises. The CIA was going to investigate the situation further, but the family fled to Guadeloupe. 7. The Man in the Iron Mask. This mystery man lived from around 1640 to 1703, and he spent the last 3 decades of his life imprisoned in various French jails, including Paris's famous Bastille. Wearing an iron mask, many people theorized who he was, but his true identity still remains unknown. 8. France's Deadly Dancers. In 1518, a woman named Frau Trophia began dancing in the middle of the street in Strasbourg, France. Others began to join her, and they didn't break. Within a month, nearly 400 residents were taking part in the strange dance party. Soon, however, people began dying of exhaustion, heart attacks, and strokes. No one is quite sure why the bizarre dance party kicked off in the first place. 9. LOF Pass. In the winter of 1959, 9 experienced hikers from Russia trekked into a remote area of the Ural Mountains. For some unknown reason, the hikers all abandoned their camp in the middle of the night, and were found dead shortly after from hypothermia and other physical injuries. One of the bodies was even missing its eyes and tongue. 10. Florida's human combustion. In 1951, a landlord named Pansy Carpenter called the police after she discovered the doorknob of one of her tenants, Mary Reza, was burning hot. When police entered the St. Petersburg apartment, they found a pile of ashes, Mary's left foot, her spine, and her skull. The FBI claimed she set herself ablaze with a lit cigarette, but nothing else in the apartment had been damaged. 11. Frozen alive. In December of 1980, a 19-year-old girl named Jean Hillier crashed her car while on the way to a friend's house in rural Minnesota. She tried walking the remaining 2 miles, but the frigid temperatures stopped her. She was found frozen solid the next morning, and her heart rate had dropped to 12 beats per minute. Miraculously, she made a full recovery, and doctors were baffled as to how she survived the ordeal. 12. Dog suicide. The Overtown Bridge in Dumbarton, Scotland, was built in 1895, and over the past 5 decades, about 50 dogs have leapt over the side, to their death. A canine psychologist, a veterinarian behavioral specialist, and even a psychic, were called upon to shed some light on this gruesome trend, but none of them had any answers. 13. The Tunguska event, in 1908, a massive explosion, said to be over 150 times more powerful than a nuclear bomb, leveled over 800 square miles of a remote part of the Siberian forest. Some claim the explosion was caused by a meteor, but no crater was ever found. 14. The Porpoise grave. While a team of archaeologists were working on a site on a tiny island in the English Channel, they came upon what they believed to be a 14th-century grave. Upon excavation, they were stunned to find the remains of a porpoise, instead of a human. No one knows why the body of an aquatic creature was placed in the grave. 15. The Toxic Woman. In 1994, a woman named Gloria Ramirez was admitted to the emergency room at California's Riverside General Hospital. For the final stages of her cervical cancer, nurses began to notice strange ammonia-like odors coming from her body, and 23 members of the hospital staff fell ill. Shortly after Gloria arrived, Gloria passed away that evening, but the cause of the stench was never discovered. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Also check out these other exciting videos to feed your curiosity.